and welcome back to my videos. Today I'm going to talk about when things get a little bit tough. Okay. Yesterday, well actually let's go back to the beginning. For the last couple of weeks I have allowed myself to be taken advantage of slightly. Nothing major, just allowing other people to dictate how I use my time, rather than prioritising what I think I need to be using my time for, which is for my Thrive training. So I've been doing accounts with my hubby, which is fine. I don't mind helping him out, but there's been days where he's been out the office and I've spent the entire day trying to sort out the mess that he's left behind by his crappy management of his filing and all that kind of stuff. That's not okay. And I have spoken to him about that, and I've told him that I won't be doing that again. You know, if he doesn't get himself sorted out, I won't be helping him with his accounts anymore. And that's fair enough. Just also things like the kids, they get a lot of stuff from us. My eldest, as I've talked about already, has been away in Germany on the school exchange. He was given money to go. My youngest, he's had people for sleepovers. He's been given money to go and do things. And I do ask that they do some things around the house to help out, you know, as part of the deal. Lately, though, they seem to think that when I ask them to do something, it's optional. You know, if they don't actually want to do it, they don't have to. You know, if they can't really be bothered and they would rather play on their games, their iPad, their PlayStation, whatever, then that's what they'll do. So last night, I went out to a little running event with my hubby and left the kids at home for an hour or so. And I asked them to do the dishes whilst we were out, the tea dishes, because we'd fed them before we went out and so on. Came back in and they were still sitting playing on their iPads. Well, I just kind of lost it. I lost the plot. I had a full-blown tantrum, shouting, a bit of swearing, dropped the F-bomb once or twice, and even slammed the door. Now, not good, not clever, not funny. But I think to a certain extent, it was maybe necessary. They needed a rocket up the arse. They seem to have taken this new calmer version of me to mean that they can please themselves and do what they like. Well, sorry, no, you can't. You need to, you know, live up to your end of the bargain. If you want me to say yes to having friends for sleepovers, to say yes for going to the movies, to say yes, you can have some money for something, whatever it might be, then you need to do your share, you know. I'm busy. I've got my Thrive training, which I'm doing, which I'm trying to spend full time doing that so that I can get it finished and get out there and working and earning money again. I'm also helping my hubby out. I have some clients of my own sort of within his business, you know, that I look after, which is fine. But then there's the household stuff and the kids and all the running around. And I want to go out and do exercise. You know, I go to running. I've been training for Tough Mudder, 2 sleeps, that kind of stuff. So I need cooperation. I need people. They're old enough. The kids they're old enough to be taking on some of the responsibility for doing stuff around the house, looking after themselves a bit more, and so on. And the problem is, of course, that they model themselves on their father, who's pretty good at leaving things at his backside. So I had a tantrum. Now, it's the first tantrum I've had since I was introduced to Thrive. When introduced to Thrive, I very quickly became aware that I could be in charge of my emotions and there was no need for tantrums. And I would feel the frustration rising or whatever, and I would feel myself getting a little bit annoyed, and I'd say, hang on, what's going on here? What do I need to change? What do I need to sort out? And I would sort it. But as I said, for the last couple of weeks, I have allowed things to get a little bit out of hand. I've allowed myself to be taken advantage of a little bit, which has led to me getting more and more frustrated. And I know now, through more self-awareness and working through Thrive, that a lot of my depression, anxiety, stress was through frustration and lack of feeling like completely out of control. And I've taken back the control over my life and my actions, and just all aspects of my life really. I've taken control of that through working through Thrive, but I was allowing that to slip, not really investing in myself over the last couple of weeks, allowing myself to fall back into old patterns. So hence, boom, last night I just kind of exploded. The difference being that it didn't last very long. I had a big rant, a big tantrum, told them all they needed to just buck up their ideas. If they wanted to be getting all these good things in their life, they needed to do their share of the work and take some responsibilities. So I wasn't very proud of myself the way I handled it. It wasn't ideal, but the big thing here is to forgive yourself and move on. Recognize it for what it is. Mend the fences that you've just trashed, which I did. Made peace with the family again, got it all sorted out. They know what their responsibility is in the whole situation, and they know that they have been taking the mick a little bit because they didn't argue back. They just took it all on the chin because they knew I was right and they were wrong. The way I did it was wrong, but the message actually was fairly on the button and accurate. So I went away into the shower afterwards because I needed to just be on my own for a minute, and I'd just come in from running and things anyway. So I went in the shower. I think I cried for about a minute. Then I gave myself a kick up the arse and worked through what I needed to work through with Thrive. Thought about what was going on in my head. Was it useful? Was it positive? Was it serving me right now? No. So I had to change what was going on up there, change my thinking, because the old patterns, the old styles of thinking, they would sneak in so very easily. The self-loathing, the self-deprecating, all the insults and the not so very long ago, even just 6 months ago, I would have been really beating myself up about that, about the way that I had behaved, and I would be telling myself how terrible a person I was, how bad a mum I was, lots of stuff like that. Whereas I was like, okay, so you didn't handle that very well, get a grip. Make sure that you don't allow yourself to get to that stage again. I mean, it wasn't just a blow up last night over the dishes. It was a 2 or 3 weeks lead up to that point. Also, I haven't been feeling very great the last few days. I don't know what's going on, but I've been feeling headachy, sicky, blah, 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 blah. But having said that, I also forgot to take my medication for a couple of days. And whilst I am reducing my medication to come off, we're talking antidepressants here, okay? I used to be on elephant dose of antidepressants, and I'm now just on a little mouse dose. But missing it for 2 days is still enough to make me feel quite unwell. I am on a phased reduction, and I would say 2 months from now I will be completely off of this medication. But when I do miss it for a couple of days, I feel pretty crap. Lots of side effects and things, and I hadn't even, there just had been stuff going on, so I had forgotten, and I just felt rubbish. But I kept telling myself, oh, it's not that bad, you just, get a grip. Stop, don't feel sorry for yourself, don't overplay it, don't allow yourself to say, oh, I feel terrible and all that nonsense, because I didn't. Felt a little bit rubbish, not terrible. But it just allowed the negativity to creep in a little bit. And so it all just added up to last night's blip and explosion, really. So today I've gotten up. The kids have been very respectful this morning, gotten themselves organised and off to school pretty quickly and quietly. and just I'm in a positive place. I'm focused on what I need to do today, what I need to do for myself, what I need to do for my Thrive training, and so on, and all these kind of things. So I'm ready to sort of get on and seize the day. So last night, which could have been a total meltdown with consequences for days, if not weeks, for me in the past, had consequences for about half an hour last night. And I was able to sort myself out, rein it all in, and get back onto a positive track, because I'm just not allowing myself to go back to that bad place. It's crap. And I know I have the skills, the techniques, and the ability to sort myself out and keep on a positive track. So there's just a little message for you. You can always come back from these blips and tantrums. They last as long as you let them last, and what you need to do is you need to learn from the experience, and that turns it into something positive. So I've learned that I can't be complacent about my happiness and about my being responsible for myself and my health and well-being. I've learned that I can't just kind of let it slip for a week or two, because if I let it slip for a week or two, things very quietly deteriorate until you get to a point where you end up having a blowout or whatever. So I don't want to be doing that. Okay, don't want to waste a day. I don't want to waste a minute of feeling negative and all that, if it's not necessary. And it isn't necessary. Not when it comes to just managing your thinking, your behaviour, your locus of control and all of that. I was giving away control over my life. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, I've got it back, and I am doing what I need to do for the benefit of me and my family. Ultimately, it is for them as well. It's not like I'm being a selfish bitch here. That's not what it's about. It's about being the best person that I can be, so that I'm the best mum, the best wife, and so on for them. And that doesn't mean doing everything for them and allowing them to take advantage of me. That means making sure that they have the skills and the motivation and the determination to be the best version of themselves, to be independent, to be respectful of others, and to just be really good, happy, motivated people, young men. So there we have it. If you can relate to this and you enjoyed my video, please do watch my others, and please subscribe to my channel. I'm not managing to do a video every day at the moment. There's just an awful lot going on, but I will make sure I'm doing a minimum of 3 or 4 a week. So try and keep in touch with you that way. Anyway, without further ado, don't let anyone pee in your cornflakes, because I had allowed that to happen for a day or two there, but don't, and have an awesome